Welcome. Thank you, everybody, for tuning back in once again for another episode of Logik's View. Today is the 16th, Thursday, and we're going to be discussing Michigan's political landscape, the war zone from a ground level perspective. And we're going to be discussing, the successful J6 coup d'etat that happened in Michigan, along with Sister Stephanie Lambert, who is under constant attack even till this day since the past 3 years, fighting for the truth regarding the elections. So we're gonna get right into it. I got some intel I want to show y'all, some things I've been gathering on Telegram. So this is a post that was shared from Unshackled the Mitten, a Telegram channel, and I believe it's ran by Ken Bayer, but I'm not sure. But this post is from earlier today. It's titled "Judge Rossi Dismisses Case for Plaintiffs." This is regarding the MIGOP chair case. It says it is unusual for plaintiffs to bring a motion for summary disposition before making their case to a jury. However, that is precisely what Judas Pago and co. did. Judas Pago, they're referring to Melinda Pago, who was Christina Carama's co-chair, who stood in as interim chair, I believe, until Pete Hoekstra came in and took over as chair. Between the corrupt judicial system, corrupt media, and corrupt National Party leadership, the globalist cabal bullied their way back into the MIGOP chair position, wrestled control of nearly all the assets, and made their coup nearly impossible to undo at this point. However, these evildoers knew that 12 unbiased jurors could reverse their damage during a summer trial, and they couldn't take that chance. Hence the motion for summary disposition. Dan Hartman clearly made the argument that the bylaws cannot be interpreted in both a loose judicial activist manner and a strict originalist manner. Yet, that is precisely what Judge Rossi did in his opinion. Rossi's interpretations were loose or strict, depending on what benefited the insurrectionists. It remains to be seen whether this case will end up before an appellate judge. Now, we gonna look into who Judge Rossi is, because a lot of people are saying he is corrupt and or compromised or biased and should have removed. But that's probably why they chose him in the first place. Now, Melinda Pago, she is from about a half hour south of me in Muskegon County. And when Christina picked her as her co-chair, me and Chuck Richard were we were disgusted behind it. Chuck had filled me in on how Melinda Pago had been working with other corrupt politicians and legislators, such as John Bumstead and others, Senator John Bumstead. So even on a state level down to the grassroots, she had been working with the other side, and he is a definite rhino, John Bumstead. So Chuck Richard, he lives in my county. He's a warrior. He been fighting. He been fighting to expose a lot of the rhinos and corrupt people on a grassroots level. This is what Chuck had to say recently, but Chuck go hard. He been exposing people for years, ever since I met him about 3 years ago at an activist event. We found out we live in the same county, and we've been fighting together ever since. Anyway, this is Chuck's post. Meet dishonorable Judge Rossi from Kent County. He needs to be thrown off the bench. He had a direct financial conflict of interest and connected with DeVos and Hoekstra, yet he still ruled with Hoekstra. We need to have everyone filing with the Judicial Tenure Commission. He had already predetermined the outcome in spite of solid fact. Is this judge a member of the Dark Unicorn Society? Do not reelect Judge Rossi. So this is the type of content that Chuck Rashard puts out. He doesn't hold anything back, and he's a digital warrior, just like many of us, who's trying to expose corruption and bring change. You know, so he not the only one that's been exposing this judge. I want to go back to read what Dan Hartman, which is the attorney representing Stephanie Lambert. Now, you got all these lawyers under attack. Dan Hartman is a lawyer who's under attack. Stephanie Lambert is a lawyer who is under attack. And they got to represent each other because it's hard to find these type of warrior lawyers willing to go up against the system. So this is Dan Hartman's statement from yesterday. The court granted summary disposition and will be entering a permanent injunction against a Karamo as chair. First, a motion for summary disposition is a final order which can be appealed. The previous appeal was a request for leave permission to appeal interlocutory, a non-final order that we had immediate consideration granted, and then a denial of the interim request because the court wanted a final order. The grounds for appeal include everything that happened, including the justifiability issue. The appeals court is able to hear this immediately or able to let the clock run out past her term, which will render the case moot. If they take immediate action, then either side can go to the Michigan Supreme Court. In addition, we can bring a federal question and federal court to challenge the subject matter jurisdiction on the First Amendment freedom of association. We have good grounds, and that is a strong appeal. Legally, we have great issues on standing and a quo warranto, as well as the political question. As to the factual determinations, it was like dancing through the tulips, saying that the clause of bylaws is strictly construed against Karamo, and the rest is close enough. Ultimately, there's a race against time and a choice of resources. So he says right here, we are disappointed with the ruling, but not surprised considering the prior rulings. There will be no trial June 10th. So many of us have been waiting for the trial to see what was going to take place. But according to this, there will be no trial. So we're going to see how that goes. Now, like I said earlier, Chuck Rashard wasn't the only one exposing this judge. And it's another warrior, Bob Cushman, been fighting in the streets fighting in the political arena for a long time. This one is from February 28th. On February 27th, Judge Rossi ruled against Christina Karamo as chair of the Michigan Republican Party in what many believe was a travesty of justice. 40 renegade delegates used a questionable tactic of using proxies to remove the chair. It is believed that the renegade delegates were acting in accordance with the Michigan oligarchy as it attempts to regain control. Now, I have footage of this actual J6 coup d'etat that he's referring to, these 40 renegade delegates, and I'm going to show y'all that in a minute. But he asked the questions, do you think that the judgment was tainted? Do you think that Judge Rossi should have recused himself because of campaign donations? Now, if you look at this post, he even goes on to show why he's saying that. So, Judge Rossi, this is the Joseph Rossi, the judge in question. These are donations from the DeVos family, $1,000, all these family members. So, this is how the DeVosses do it here in Michigan. For those of y'all who don't know, that they're a rich family. I'll show you right here. As you can see, the DeVos family, the Michigan oligarchy, aka the Michigan Opportunity Alliance. The DeVos family is at the top as far as political donations in Michigan. You always hear that saying, follow the money. Well, when you follow the money, when you find this stuff, you got to realize this is what happens when you follow the money. It takes you down unexpected trails, but when you get to the end of that trail, you can't doubt what you find. Ron Weiser family, that's the previous MIGOP chair. Now you got the DeVos family trying to influence judges. This family is so involved in corrupt politics in Michigan. When they want to support a candidate, the DeVosses, they all the family members get together and donate to this candidate. And usually, I mean, this is probably the max that they could have donated legally, but it's in other cases where it's been $10,000. Each family member donate $10,000 when they're allowed to legally. Now, we don't know what happens behind closed doors, if money is exchanging hands in other ways or through other political action committees. But this is why Brother Bob Cushman is asking the question, should this judge have recused himself? Now, the DeVosses are in cahoots with Hoekstra. They all on the same team. The DeVosses want Hoekstra to be the chair. They want to influence the chair of Michigan. This judge is in their pocket, obviously. You know what I'm saying? It's okay if a couple of y'all want to support him, but y'all get your whole family to target these people like this. And this is another big family, the Jander Noahs and the Sekia, however you say that. So, you know, when you follow the money, this judge is definitely he receiving funding from the Michigan oligarchs. Now, so that was Brother Bob Cushman. He been speaking out against it. Brother Chuck Richard, they've been exposing it for years, not just the past few months or nothing like that. So now I want to go back and show you that footage. I just seen it for the first time today. So I want to show y'all for sure. All right, now y'all can see this now.
Okay, this isn't a court of law. This is your little.
I'm trying to keep the peace.
On the side here, it says public. It's not one more time, Oakland County. You're not.
Are you threatening us?
You have authority on this property.
Okay, can I?
I'm a state committee member. Don't threaten me.
Yes.
You're not being threatened.
Can I send
That
you
sounds
to
like
the
a threat to
committee
me.
member?
That sounds like
Get out of my face with that.
All right.
Get out of
You're the
my
one
face.
stepping up to me.
Get out of my face.
William.
You just walked
Get
up.
out.
Wrong.
Yeah, committee member. Guess who is?
Billy,
William.
stop. Stop.
You're not a state committee member. William.
No, I'm not.
Guys, Bill, we
Right,
have
well,
budget. Please.
Maybe brush your teeth a little.
He's not a state committee member. I understand that. I'm telling them to stand down.
William.
If you're state committee member, please come inside with me.
There's no harm. They're not.
I disagree.
They come here to disrupt it. This
You
is
told me to kill him.
dilatory.
Member.
They're dilatory.
Now, this lady in the red right there, that's Melinda Pago. She was Christina Karama's co-chair, which we disagree with from the get-go. And you see, she took the side of the corruption and the oligarchs, the swamp, Michigan swamp. And that dude, William Lonsberry, he think he's something special. He got an earpiece. He's probably an undercover federal agent or something. I got to look more into him. That's just my opinion. I ain't never seen him or recognized him until this moment. But watch how he carry on.
Illegitimate.
And this was January 6th.
I know the bylaws. I know the people who wrote the bylaw. That is illegitimate. You just have to read the bylaws. You don't have the 54 signatures for removal.
You have every election integrity expert on here.
We're telling you it's illegitimate, Melinda. Read the bylaws. Happy New Year, Terry.
My friend.
You're not a state committee member.
I'm here with the attorney. Too bad.
You're not a state committee member.
That's
You're
too bad.
not a state committee member.
I don't care. You're not. Go.
You're
Out of my face and out of this area.
not
Okay, Tom, this is where we're gonna be the whole, where we're gonna be the whole.
Please, William. State committee members are being denied.
No, they're not being denied. You're being denied.
So you could see my man, he got an earpiece in and everything. William Lonsberry. I'm glad I wasn't there, man. And then they talking to Patrick Colbeck like he just somebody who don't know what they're doing. This William Lonsberry threatening them. These patriots out here standing up against this coup d'etat in real time. That was January 6th of last year, 2023. And they picked that date because that's the date that the main insurrection occurred on 2021. You know what I'm saying? So Michigan got our own special little J6 in coup d'etat 2 years after the main coup d'etat. And it's sad. So, you know, that's getting us to where we are today. That's where we are today with Christina. You know, I guess it's not no trial on June 10th. The clock is ticking. The time is running out. I'll check Christina Caramo X account and her Facebook and stuff. Haven't seen no recent statements from her. And she probably so over this, you know, because Trump been going through this same thing times 50, times 100. You know what I'm saying? They got Trump in court left and right. If Trump didn't have billions of dollars and support of probably close to 100 million Americans and the world, Trump got support across the world too. If he didn't have all that plus the American support, he would have been overwhelmed by their lawfare. You know, Christina, she faced lawfare on a state scale, not being filthy rich and not having support of the media, the alternative. I mean, she got the alternative media got her back, but the mainstream media is way more powerful. Judges, you know what I'm saying? Trump facing corrupt judges. We see it. They suing them for hundreds of millions of dollars. Christina couldn't sustain that. None of us could. The only reason Trump have a chance of sustaining all this stuff is because of us, because of his money, because of the alternative media outlets. You know what I'm saying? The people across the world supporting Trump. And many believe the Lord is guiding all of us through this to fight the cabal. So Christina is one of the warriors in Michigan under horrible attack. You know, Dan Hartman, shouts out to Dan Hartman, Christina, Stephanie Lambert, Stephanie, the other Stephanie. We moving right into that right here. Shouts out to Donna Brandenburg for being down there at the court case. These is pictures right here. Stephanie Lambert, Dan Hartman, and Stephanie Scott. She was a county clerk that refused to follow Jocelyn Benson's unlawful orders. Dominion was trying to come in there and do stuff without having a warrant, and she was skeptical, and she was wondering, you know, why y'all need to come in here, because the evidence, everything from the election is supposed to remain safe and kept for 2 years in case it's needed for any type of audits or investigation. And she refused to let Dominion come in there and tamper with the equipment without a proper warrant. And, you know, she's being charged. Stephanie Lambert represents her. Stephanie Lambert also represents Patrick Byrne in the Dominion case. Dominion is going after her. If you look on the go to Google right now and type in Stephanie Lambert in Michigan, and they got her plastered all across the web looking like a criminal, making it seem like she's guilty of committing crimes when she's just doing her job. She obtained evidence of corruption, and she turned it over to law enforcement and I believe the FBI, which made Dana Nessel angry because Stephanie knew Dana Nessel wouldn't do the right thing with it. So you could hear from Stephanie Lambert. This is after the court hearing a couple days ago, and I'll let her explain it to you.
Dominion is attempting to silence me and remove me as Patrick Byrne's attorney. I provided evidence of law violations and criminal acts that Dominion committed to law enforcement. I did that, and Dominion is trying to remove me as the attorney. And no surprise, today the Attorney General worked with Dominion to cause me to appear in this court I represent Stephanie Scott, the clerk of Adams Township. Stephanie Scott refused, as the clerk of Adams Township, to follow unlawful instructions from the Secretary of State. She was requested that she delete election data in violation of the law. Stephanie Scott refused to do that, and that is the nature of these charges. We look forward to putting Secretary Benson and her staff in the witness chair, swearing them under oath. We know that truth and justice will prevail. This is not a partisan issue. This is about data and the will of the people and understanding the election process. And Benson's office continues to use and lie to various communities, Flint, Detroit, and now Adams Township. And we look forward to proving our case in court. Thank you.
So the machines that were allegedly not turned over, are those going to be part of this case?
You're going to obtain all evidence at trial here, and we've already won this case, and you're going to see that. Stephanie has followed all of the law. I have followed all of the law. I'm an advocate that they're trying to silence. I need to go, but thank you so much for talking with me.
Is your theory that anyone can hand over a tabulator to anyone else as long as it's the clerk who is doing it?
Sir, we look forward to presenting this case.
That's a simple question, isn't it?
Right, sir. Thank you so much.
So you're not going to answer
Nice
that.
to meet you.
You're not going to answer that.
You're going to be able to sit and listen to the trial and have Benson and her office testify under oath. I very much appreciate
So
it.
you
I
won't
have
answer that question.
Hey, Stephanie, this is no different than Trump. It's on the Trump.
I love you.
bastards. Oh, you are.
Yeah, and see that dude that was trying to give her a hard time, that reporter at the end, I think that was Craig Mauger. He worked for Detroit Free Press, and many people know that he a political hack, and he do a lot of work for the establishment. But as you can see, Stephanie Lambert, as she stated, she been fighting. Dana Nessel can't stand her. Jocelyn Benson can't stand her. And Stephanie Scott refused to follow them unlawful orders. So it's a war going on against Dominion. Of course, many people know it, but this is a ground level view in Michigan. Some of the warriors, Patrick Kobeck, Stephanie, you got Dara Rendon, you got the 16 electors being charged, you got all this stuff going on, people being labeled as an election deniers. It's a continuous war going on. And here we got the new election coming up. So thank y'all for tuning back into another episode of Logik's View. God bless y'all. Hope y'all have a good day. Peace.